Yesterday, we opened, pushed up a little bit, played around, did some games. Then those ISM services numbers came out and it was a miss. That make the market move lower. Okay? Made the market move lower. So, and then market kind of consolidated for a while, moved up a little bit, then sold off a little bit. Internals like basically described what was going on yesterday. They were weak. However, let me explain this and I'll show you guys in a little bit. The overall market wasn't really weak. Tech was weak, financials was weak, right? But the overall market wasn't super weak. And I'll show you that in a little bit. Okay. Now AMD had earnings. The market doesn't like them. Okay. Down 5.65% this morning. Right. That's also pulling down Super Microcomputers, I believe, is down big today this morning as well. We had Disney report this morning. They are down. What else going on? There's Uber reported. They are up. So those are some earnings that came out. Okay. Now, let's get right into this. All right. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use market profile, volume profile to find structures in the market along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. This is my edge. Okay. I use anchored VWAPs and my trusty market internals. Now, of course, I've been keep talking about the free indicator that I have, the weekly expected move. The weekly expected move. 70% of the time, all stocks basically close within these ranges. That's pretty good edge. Okay, I share that for free on my Discord. All right, now, hopefully you join me every day. All right, subscribe, set that alert. Let me give you the market story, technical analysis, and then long and short trade scenarios in the ES and Nasdaq futures. Okay, you want more in depth? Join my Discord, Confluence Trading. All right, I give live market commentary every morning. I could be your indicator, and if you want that free indicator, join my Discord. Okay, go to the weekly. I'm going to show you right here. So if you go to my Discord, okay, so you're in my Discord, you go down here to the weekly expected move. There's that indicator. Put it on your charts. Check it out. I'm sure it will be pretty cool to watch it as Friday rolls around. Okay. Now, why don't we get right into futures? All right. What do we have going here in futures? So, crude is catching a bid. Crude is up 1.44%. 10-year yield's up 0.71. Ethereum's up 0.32. Dow's up 0.204. Bitcoin's up 0.21. ES up 0.11. The VIX is pretty much flat. Nasdaq's pretty much flat. Russell's flat. Silver's flat. VIX is flat. Dollar is down 0.19. 30-year bonds being sold down 0.46. And gold, the laggard, down 0.58. Okay, moving on to your Max 7 Plus here. And Amazon is leading the pack, up 0.58, followed by Microsoft up 0.54, followed by Coinbase up 0.51, Apple's up 0.37, Meta up 0.33. Is there laggards? Yes, a little bit here. Tesla's down 0.24, Nvidia's down 0.80, and AMD, it's been a monster. All right, went up to 183, I believe, down 5.46%. Okay. Top sectors here. You could see McDonald's, I believe, reported earnings. They're up 3.5. Uber's up 1.35. They reported earnings. The laggards, Disney, they reported earnings as well. Go to a little bit of granular list here. Look at Shopify. They reported earnings as well. They are up 15.09%. I believe that's Ring Central, up 13.55%. ANET, I forget the ticker. Is that Arista? I don't remember now. Up 11.11, and then that's just stuck there. Uh, that's about it there. Is there laggers? There probably is. Ooh, there's the super microcomputers down 17.25%. Lucid down 7.02%. Emerson, I believe that is down 6.99%. Unity Software down 4. Uh, I forget what that is. I guess Energy. Dell down 2.25%. All right, that's that list. All right. Now we go to sectors. Who's leading the pack today? That's your energy. That's your crude's up 0.70, followed by discretionary. That's your Amazon, Tesla, Home Depot. Financials up 0.23. Laggard though, semiconductors down 0.57. That's usually risk off. Okay, but a lot of times when I say that, people buy the dip on the semiconductors. I don't know though. This is August. I'm not really sure. Seasonally, this is a bearish month. We just have to see. Okay, moving on to the economic calendar now. And it's kind of light today. All right, kind of light. We got 30-year mortgage rate came out already. Previous 6.8. This is 6.77, so down one a little bit. You got crude inventories at 10:30 a.m. Crude inventories at 10:30 a.m. Then Fed Cook speaking at 2 p.m. Hope to not be trading at that time. All right, that's for today. As far as earnings calendar, let's see. Before the open today, Uber, Shopify, Oscar Health, Novo Nordisk, Disney, Six Flags, McDonald's all reported. After the close today, Apple 11, IonQ, Duolingo, Fortinet, DraftKings, Jack in the Box. Right before the open tomorrow, Celsius, Eli Lilly, ConocoPhillips, Vistra Energy, Sony. All right, that's about it for earnings. Now, if we go to news, let's look at some news here. AMD stock sank 6.2 after the chipmaker unveiled underwhelming quarterly revenue at its crucial data center business. McDonald's stock rose 3.4 after the burger giant's global sales beat expectations. Disney stock fell 1.2 after the entertainment giant reported revenue from conventional TV networks and sports programming that fell short of Wall Street's expectations. Super microcomputer stock slumped 17% after the AR server maker missed fourth quarter revenue estimates. Shopify Monster stock gained 16% after the e-commerce company forecasted third quarter revenue above market estimates. Novo Nordisk keeps falling this thing. ADRs fell 2.8 after it said it will push to bring down cost as the maker of the weight loss drugs Wegovy grapples with intensifying competition and pressure from copycats. Uber stock fell, but that's kind of old now because it's up. Okay, it says fell 1%, but you can see right there that's wrong. Unless I got something. Oh wait, that's Snap. Let's go to Uber. Stock fell. See, it's not. It's up. Right? So currently up. Stock fell even after Rod Helen unveiled a 20 billion stock buyback. Well, that is up now. So Snap shares plummeted 70% as social media companies reported a weak quarter at mounting competition underscored the company's struggle to keep up pace with AI-driven peers. Rivian stock fell 6.2 after the electric vehicle company reported a larger than expected second quarter loss. Arista, that's what I thought. ANET stock jumped 12% after the cloud networking firm reported upbeat guidance. And Six Flags stock fell 12% after the music park company reported weaker than expected second quarter. All right. Large orders hitting the tape for some reason. All right. Let's look at more news. Let's see. OpenAI eyes 500 billion valuation and potential employee share sale. We know about AMD. I just talked. Disney ESPN to acquire NFL media assets in major deal. Okay. Why is oil going? Oil prices rebounded after 4 consecutive sessions declines. All right. Like I said, I just covered a bunch of these, so I'm not going to get into a bunch of stuff here. There might be some, let's see, advanced micro devices. Piper Sandler raises target price to 190 from 140. So they did get a target price raised. Caterpillar, JP Morgan raises target price to 520 from 475. Rivian, Piper Sandler cuts target price. All right. That will do it there. Financial juice. What you got for me today? All right. Let's see the risk here. Let's see what we have on tap today. Feds, basically talked about that already. All right, talked about that already. Let's look at the good old breath. Our good old how many percent of stocks in the S&P 500 are over the 20-day simple moving average. So we came back in a little bit to 41%. 41%. Remember, it gets frothy up here, right? However, we're kind of middling. We're middling. That's what's going on. Jeez, what's going on here? Large orders. Large orders. Is that oil? Maybe that's oil. That is oil. So that's crude getting those large orders, not our ES or NASDAQ. All right, crude getting some large orders hitting the tape. All right. Now, before we get into the dailies, we have to go into what happened yesterday, right? So we're going to go into the market internals. And you can see my market internals when it has the SPX there. Okay, SPX. Okay, so I track gamma levels in SPY, QQQ, SPX, and then a bunch of tickers. All right. Now, if you look at the internals, look at what we did. We opened up and we were a little strong, right? And then the market cap just continued to fall, which means the heavyweights. So you can see Infotech's 34% of the market cap, down 1.19. Financials down 0.67. See, consumer discretionary finished flat. Communications, though, your Meta, Google, was down, right? So 3 out of the 4 tops were down. All right. Now, I want to show you something. Okay. Even though this was going down, right? Stayed down, made a little rally, came back down, right? You can see here. Now, 2 things I'm going to show you. Gamma levels, number 1. 6,300 is a very important level in the SPX. It was the weekly gamma flip point for this week. Okay. That level kind of got tested multiple times. Okay. That's number 1. Number 2. This is where you talk about these vol-D numbers. Okay. It's very important. And the ADDs. Okay. The advanced declines. This is what's real important. And this tells you the overall market. Okay. Now, let me be clear. Market cap weight is what moves our market for real. These bars is really what moves the market for real. Okay. Your market's not going to go up much when technology is down 1.19% from the open. You're just not going to, your rallies are going to get sold into. Okay. That's going to happen. All right. But the overall market was not that weak. Look, a 1-to-1 ratio, slightly of volume going into up stocks versus down stocks, right? That's in the whole NYSE stock exchange. Almost 1-to-1, meaning split down the middle in the Nasdaq exchange. Okay, that is not very weak. That is not very strong. Okay, and even if you go to the S&P 500, advanced decline, it was a 51, a minus 51. Okay, a minus 51 out of 500 stocks is basically in the middle. Nasdaq 100, that's where your weakness came from. That was a minus 43. Now remember, that's only out of 100 stocks. So there's where your weakness was. Okay? But the overall market, S&P 500, even the Nasdaq exchange, look at that, minus 146 out of like 3,000. NYSE was a plus 352. So the overall market wasn't falling apart with tech, which made this market come down violently, but then it just couldn't get its legs. Now, it got some legs here, but with tech down that much, usually people are going to go, all right, let me take my profit. And then we went back down. Very predictable. Okay. What I say easy to trade? No, nothing's easy to trade. That's your market internals recap. Okay. So that all comes into the story, and I share that with you in my Discord. All right. So moving on, we'll go to daily charts. All right. I always want to make sure I review it for myself too. And as I'm watching that market yesterday, I'm like, man, this market's not really that weak, but it's not strong, right? So let's get into the daily charts here. All right, I don't know what's going on with that voice. Here's a SPY, all right? Look what we did. The day before, we were up here, right? Then we pushed above those highs, came back into range of the previous day, and closed down here, close to the middle of the prior day. Okay, so you're underneath the 20-day simple moving average and the 90 EMA daily. My guess is we're gonna try try to figure out what this market wants to do. You dropped, and now we're in the middle of this, right? Kind of filled that gap here to the close, if you wanted to call that. We did do that. And now it's like, I think right here is going to be the termination, and I think we might range, I don't know for how long, and we're going to decide, is this market really going to test all-time highs, or is this finally going to get a decent correction? We have to see. Where are we at now? 620. I call 629. 629. We are right here. Almost in the mid part of yesterday. Okay. What I would say is nothing to see here, really. Qs. The Qs. So the Qs also filled that gap. All right. And then came back down to the lower portion of the previous day, closed underneath the 9 EMA daily and the 20-day super moving average. What are we now? We are at 560.72, 560.72. Now, this is a little weaker because of semis, okay? That's why we're near the lows of yesterday, near the lower portion of yesterday's sessions, okay? Let's look at futures here. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't give you the ES futures. Let's give you the ES futures real quick because I didn't do that. So there's our ES futures. See how we're starting to build this balance area? This has really been resistance in an area up here. All right, and see how we're in the middle of these candles? Just garbage. Okay. Nasdaq futures. It's probably going to look similar. Yeah. Okay. So resistance up here, strong resistance. And now look, price is right here. You're in the middle. Right? In the middle of the muddle, as I call it. Not the best place to be. Really is not. Okay? That means indecisiveness. Big bar down, big bar up, a little bar, half the move of the prior day, and you're there, right? Not the best area, right? Expect choppiness. Okay? Now, moving on. Talk about that triple-headed monster, and that was your, oh my God. I am sorry. I didn't even have the daily charts up here. And guess what that means to me? Ain't nobody watching because someone would have told me in the chat, hey, yo, dude, you got no daily charts. So I was talking to nobody, really. Here's the SPY. I'm going to go over it really quickly again. Here we are. Fill the gap. Closed pretty much at the prior day's midpoint below here. Okay, and I showed futures that are in the middle of the muddle. Okay, Qs filled that gap, came back down almost to the prior day's lows, underneath the 20-day and the 20-day and the 90 EMA daily, and then in futures, I said we're in the middle of the muddle, just the same. Okay, big bar, half the bar yesterday, and then in the middle. Not the best location. Now, let's go over to the triple-headed monster, and now that I know nobody's really watching, which is always great. But I do this anyway, regardless. Okay. All right, let's look at, first you're going to go to 10-year yield. That thing's just been squirrely. 10-year yield is just like getting old. It's really just, look at that selling. If we get buying back into this middle, oh my God, what a snooze fest. All right. So that's your 10-year yield. Let's see what we have to do. It's kind of ranging. Dollar, remember I said that could be a possible buy here. That was also a big move down. And let's see, it's not really doing much right now. Okay. VIX, that's a theory gauge. VIX, let's see. Big push up. Now we're getting a little more push up today. What a 17.8 VIX, not bad. Not bad. All right. I think we're going to move on here. And I'm just going to go straight into the market profile, volume profile. Okay. There's your market profile, volume profile right now. get my marker out here. And what are we going to do here? So we'll look at the profile. Profile's got multiple distributions at it. Look at that. Right? And then you got another distribution down here. Right? So how do you look at that? Price is right here. Now there is a new most traded price of the month. That's 63.35. Okay, 63.35. And guess where we're at? 63.35. Not a level you want to be hanging out on, especially the midpoint of the overnight is right there. Not the midpoint of yesterday exactly, but it's just going to be a chop fest at that level. It's going to be a chop fest. All right. Now, what we have here is we got some key levels. All right, we're going to talk about them. All right. So let me fix those single prints because we had some single prints yesterday. I'm going to fix that. That wasn't really right there. Okay. Okay. So levels to talk about. Levels to talk about. So yesterday's lows and the overnight lows. All right, so 63.15.75, 63.13.25 overnight lows. That is a key area, right? And you got demand encompassing them, and you got the most traded price of yesterday. That becomes key. You also have month-to-date anchored VWAP right there, 63.11. Okay, 63.11. So we're right in the middle. Right in the middle, right? That is a key level, though, 63.36. That is the most traded price of the month now, of the rolling month. Okay? So we're going to, and that encompasses the overnight VPOC. Okay? And then you have poor high up here in the market profile. That's just longs that have poor trade location. They got stuffed there. And that needs to be corrected. So that's your supply zone right here, with the single prints from yesterday. Okay, and then you have supply up here at the RTH highs. Okay, so we're kind of balanced. Okay, if you just look at the couple sessions here, you got this session, this session, this session, this session. We're starting to create a balance. Okay, after the wildness drop, push up. Now we're getting into this somewhat of a balance area. All right, so and we got a key, got a key demand here with the 63.03s right there. Goose morning, Chief. Goose. I like goose. It's probably voice to text. Now, let's get right into scenarios here. At least one person's watching. That's my chief. Very busy woman. Let's get into some bull side action here. So like I said, this most traded price of the rolling month is 63.35. And it's right there. And that tells me the market doesn't know what it wants. It's indecisive. We're right at the point where everybody's trading the most contracts traded over the last month. Okay, so that's just what I know is going to happen, okay, is we're going to move away from this. Now, the move away, that's called an inside-out trade, is not really a bread and butter of mine. It's hard. Because if we stay here towards the open's volatile and it does a lot of fake outs. There's not a lot of edge in it. You can flip a coin, go long or short, and you will make money, but I don't see a big factor of making money off of it just because I know it will do it, but I have to play the edge for myself, because meaning the edge of price, not the edge like I have an edge in trading. All right, so if I want to get long today, I want to see that move away from this level and go and test here. this demand zone. That's yesterday's lows. That's the overnight lows. Month-to-date anchor VWAPs there. Okay. So in this 2-session balance, I would like to see how price reacts if it comes down here. Get some higher lows. Then I would like to see it hold this price to try to touch and break up that overnight highs, go up to this supply zone. You could get a bear trap if it's quick. A nice violent move down, breaks anchored VWAPs. And, oh, Chief, all right. If we go down to that 63.03 and we don't spend much time, we rip up, that can also be a nice one. Okay? That could also be a nice one. Now, let's go over bear sides. All right? Same thing. What am I going to look for? Push away from the level, right? 63.36 or 35, right? Let's get the push away. Let's get buyers involved. Let's go to this supply. Let's correct that poor high of the overnights. Hit into supply. And let's get some lower highs. Let's say the market's kind of in neutral, it's in parity. I would like a move down to here. If you break that and hold and retest it, you will test this area. Okay? Honestly, that's what I'm looking for today. I'll give you a ton of other scenarios, but that's what I'm looking for. Now, when the market opens, there's a new plan that usually forms for me, or I have an alternative plan, because now I know what's driving the market. Now I know if it's weak. Now I know if it's really not weak or not really strong. That all will determine what I want to do. Okay, but like join my Discord and I'll let you know what that plan is. Okay, that is ES. Nasdaq. Okay, let's look at it. I forgot to split that out for you. Let me see if I can undo it. There we go. And just split it out for you because I forgot to do that. I apologize. Oh, come on. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Hold on a sec, folks. This is the split out. Market profile is just 30-minute bars. See? 30-minute bars. That's how the overnight session has looked. Okay, I know maybe that didn't help, but we're going to go over to NASDAQ, okay? Let's look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ is relatively weaker because of semis, okay? And we also got a new level in the NASDAQ. What is that level? That level is 232, basically. I'll just call it 232 to make it easier. Now, let me be clear about this level. Let me make sure. Let me just make sure before I tell you. This level happens to be, this is my real-time trading hours chart, so it doesn't count the overnights. It happens to be ultimate balance, folks. 232 in the NASDAQ is ultimate balance. That means the most traded price of the rolling week and the rolling month are equal. Big moves happen from this level. When you push away from that kind of level, pain will be felt. Okay? If we get a violent move away, you're going to get a good excursion, up or down. That's how it works. Okay? So that makes that level 232 in the NASDAQ, write it down, a very key level. Okay? Very key. Everybody's trading at 232. Okay? Now, let's get into some levels. Okay. Now yesterday, was that yesterday? I'm trying to think. Yes, yesterday. In my pre-market plan, I said we could not lose. I'm trying to remember now. The 23257s, I believe. There was two levels I talked about yesterday. You know what? I'm going to go to my Discord as I put it here. All right, because I put it here. So if I go to my Discord and I go to live market updates, right? I believe it was yesterday. Maybe I'm mistaken. All right, here's yesterday. Okay, tracking the market. Here's what I said. It was yesterday. I said we are at the VPOC in the ES yesterday, 63.45. Bulls need to defend here. This is my key level for today. All right. And then I said the NASDAQ VPOC yesterday is 23266, needs to hold here. And I said levels I talked about all pre-market video were the key to this drop. Just didn't really have a trade set up. Okay. So I mentioned that in the pre-market video. What's this level? Let me see. 23266. 23266 is right here. Right here. That's when the market dumped. Boom. I talked about that. It just didn't give me the setup. I was waiting for a pullback and it didn't happen. Let me go back. Right here. 23266 right here. That level was the level that the NASDAQ lost. Why? Because the most trades were probably longs here, had to liquidate. Okay. Now, let's get into levels here in the NASDAQ. All right. So, what do we got here? See, we took out yesterday's lows in the overnight. Right here. Went right into demand. Formed a new demand. Okay. 232 is our level. Now, 232 is different in the NASDAQ. It's different. Why is it different? Because it's not like in the middle, like the ES. ES has two ranges almost that are equivalent. Yesterday's range, RTH, and the overnight. They're kind of equal. Not in the NASDAQ because of semis, right? So the 232, remember I'm going to talk about this level. Ultimate balance. This level with supply in the overnight highs and yesterday's value area highs becomes so key. So key. I don't know documents if he's even trading again ever if he's listening. But if you're listening, 232 in the NASDAQ is a monster. Okay? 232. It's all about that level for me. Okay? Now, we also have this important demand zone down here that goes from 23088 around to, let's see, 23040. Okay? Now, we do have a balanced profile in the overnight. Okay? Very balanced profile. So, very simple for me today. We also have supply from yesterday's highs, but we're not really by there. Okay, so we're going to talk about scenarios and how to trade this. Now, I don't love when the markets are disconnected, right? The structures are different. All I really care about is if the market opens up and if ES and NASDAQ are both at the lows together, they're at the midpoints together, they're at the highs together. That's all I care about. Okay, so let's talk about scenarios. And we're going to start in the bear side for this one. Okay. Now, that 232 is monster. So what I want to see is if we come up here, right? The bottom line is find acceptance above 232 and hold it is bullish. Reject it is bearish. So the game plan is, what do we do? So if we come up here, try to break it like this, fail, come back through it, start to hang out here and retest it, fail, I'm going to go short. And I'm going to target, okay, target yesterday's lows, 2113.75. You have a lot of demand down here, okay? If that gets taken out, you're going to go down to the 230s, okay? That would be a beautiful. If you lose that, gravy. right? Can go down to the 22, what is that? 228 zeros. That would be a beauty, okay? A beauty. I'm not sure if that's in the cards. I'm really not, but that's what I'm looking at, okay? And that's the only thing I care about. All right, so if we're going to talk about a long, right, a long that I'm really going to like, okay, what's going to happen? Now, if the market is not that weak and we come down here quickly, down to this, right, demand zones, double demand zones here, and we find support, well, and the market's not that weak, I'm going to try to come back to this level. That could be the trade, okay, and then we balance. We do games here, okay, but remember the 232 level of NASDAQ, super important. So what I really care about is if we stay up here and go like this, we break through it, and then we kind of hold, try to go up, hold, and retest and hold it. That's your long. Target 234s. So that's how crucial that level is for me. It's ultimate balance. When you make a move away from it, remember, the most people have traded in the last week, in the last month, at that price, 232 in the NASDAQ. When you make a move away from it, doesn't matter up or down, people are in pain. And then it's the most people. Remember, everybody's agreeing at that price. Okay? It's a monster. Now, when you get to that level, it could be a lot of games there. Remember, everybody's agreeing there, so it's going to be like a traffic jam. Now, you might get lucky. We just get to move away from it and try to hold on. All right? All right. That's it for me. All right. Hope you enjoyed those scenarios. All right. If you did, please smash the like button. That'd be much appreciated. I don't even know if this Rosa Daza girl who's putting money bags in my chat is even listening because she's so busy. I'm not even sure she had time to use my weekly expected move indicator. My guess is she's not even looked at a chart. All right? And she might be the only one listening right now, which is fine. Documents is missing. So a bunch of documents is here. Oh my God. Guy's breaking signs. Let's see if he shows up today. Maybe he will. Now, I know he's using the weekly expected indicator. Well, if he's using this week's, because he likes to use the previous week's. But if he's using this week's, hopefully he is. Okay. Very good. Very good. All right. So now, how do you get that indicator? You join my Discord. Go to Confluence Trading. Okay. Go to that weekly expected move channel. Add it to your charts. Trust me. Every week that thing has been a beast. Just to see how the stocks respect those levels is kind of nuts. Okay. Don't take it from me. You can see it yourself. All right. So, please join. Okay. Also, let me be your indicator. I give live commentary. I'm not gonna steer you wrong. Trust me. I'm not gonna steer you wrong. Okay. So, got our plans today, and hopefully you join me. Subscribe, set an alert. Join the party. Join the technical analysis. I give you everything. Right? Market news, the story, economic calendar, the leaders and the laggards, a bunch of technical analysis and all that jazz. As Documents loves that I say. All right? I'm here to guide. I'm here to just be information. All right? Just information. All right? So please subscribe, all right? If you don't subscribe, great. Listen every day. At least join the Discord and get the free indicator. At least. All right? All right, everybody. If I don't see you in my Discord, I will see you tomorrow morning. All right, everybody, take it easy.